Alright, guys, I was having some technical difficulties trying to stream everywhere, but I'm just gonna see if this shit pops up for you at this point because I can't keep postponing this shit, and it's giving me a fit. Got me going crazy, I must say. Get this shit back on. Get back live everywhere once again. Alright, we got visual. We got visual. Ain't nothing more rewarding and fulfilling when everything comes together as it should. So, without further fucking ado, let's get it started. Okay. So, when I was originally trying to show the stream, I realized that this chart on this stock here, this is my first trade, but the chart is inaccurate right now because this stock here was suspended at about 8:45 this morning from trading because of behind the scenes politics, whatever. Okay, so the news on this stock had the stock paying out an ex dividend. Had the stock paying out an ex dividend in for individuals that purchased these shares. For individuals that purchased these shares today, up until today. So typically, when a dividend is paid out for a stock, there is an ex-dividend date that you have to have actually purchased these shares before you can actually get the dividend. And for them, they actually allowed you to purchase the shares up until today, which was the actual ex-dividend date, which was ironic and weird in itself, but they actually allowed you to purchase it. So that's old. It's not the current one. Okay, there we go. Now, I purchased these shares down here at about like 74 cents and averaged myself up to 76 cents. I tell you guys every day when I'm looking for shares, I'm looking for stocks that I'm going to trade. I look at them based on one, the news, two, based on the share float size. So the shares have to actually be at a certain amount of outstanding shares that the company offers in order for me to purchase the shares. If they go above a certain threshold, I don't find that to be attractive at all. In this case, because the news was so attractive, it was actually worth playing with, I guess, in a sense. The volume of the shares were about 100 and what at the time like 120 some million shares that were traded. The company only offered 1 million shares when the trading was actually going on this morning. Once they suspended trading, they actually offered more shares. So now the current float is 40 million. By doing that, they actually diluted the price. So the price dropped from at this current time, 20 some cent maybe, I believe. What is it? Yeah, 23 cents at this point. So you would have hated to be trapped in this whole little situation that occurred here. So the price is all the way down here currently, 23 cents. This is after market hours. This chart goes from 8:45, 8:44 to 3:30 p.m. when they resume trading. As soon as the market opened, as soon as they resumed trading, this sold off horrendously. It's pushed back up at this point to, let's see, it's still at 23 cents. But at this point, it's so far gone that it's like, yeah, you would have hated to lose that much on that trade. So when I got in down here, eventually it popped up and then broke this threshold, attempting to go to these pre-market highs, which was up here at this 94 cent range. Pull this up, peak of pre-market. Yeah, this whole chart looks crazy because there's only one candlestick on the 15-minute chart that traded before it actually halted. But on the 15-minute, it's actually the best representation of the trade. You see, I actually went up and touched this uptrend, but this is where I got out at 81 cents. But it attempted to to get back on this uptrend, as you can see. Volume was 20 million shares in 15 minutes. 15 minutes, 20 million shares were bought. The company was like, F that. We can't pay out a dividend that enormous because everybody was just buying to hold. Because like I said, they were giving you $1.69 per share. And the shares were only trading at 80 cents. So you were literally getting 100% return just by holding the shares. The company was actually going through a company change. They were being bought out by another company. They are going to also probably change the ticker name, but hey, it would have been great, but we weren't in trying to risk it. We were like, forget that. We're just here to trade. We're not holding anything. So, as you see from this peak on a 15-minute downtrend, it comes and retests this uptrend. When it tests this uptrend, I see a lower low, and then it made a lower high. But it kind of like traded like in this little range right here. Once it actually got trapped right here on this uptrend, this is where I actually bought. And once I saw it actually come down and make this wick and pull back up, I purchased more. And when the market opened, we knew that it was eventually going to retest this uptrend. If they would have resumed trading, believe it or not, this would have blown through pre-market highs. That's what we were preparing for. But my first target was to take profit once it actually found resistance at this uptrend, which it did. When it did, I got out and I was trying to see if it was going to actually pull back again, try to bounce back up again. But at that point, they suspended trading. So we got out that trade immediately. Let's go to this trade because I can explain this some more. This is STSS. So The news on STSS was that they were, what was it? They had just started a, well, they didn't start, but they did a private placement where they purchased more Solera cryptocurrencies. They're building a treasury where they are just going to purchase and purchase and purchase and purchase more of the crypto and basically just reap the returns off of the growth of the value of this crypto. With that being said, this company is the largest company in that crypto, that's Solara. So with that being said, that news was captivating that this was the second leading gapper at the time. So when I purchased it, I got in during, as soon as I got out of the EPIX, I got in this one immediately after as well. So we had this pop here up in this range. I purchased up here in this level at this 1217. I purchased 200 shares. And initially, I was not attempting to purchase that many shares. I wasn't correct in my math at the time because I was still hung up on that EPIX trade and accidentally selected 100 shares and purchased it in two tranches. So I purchased 200 shares at $12 a share, $12.17 a share. I wanted to actually average into this trade, but with me jumping out the window at that point in time, I was already like at a point like, all right, we're just gonna let it ride and wait for it to actually break and make its efforts to go to those pre-market levels up here, which is $14. So I'm like, okay, we got a $2 potential profit area that we're seeking, trying to see come to fruition. So shit, if I'm already $2 below that, I'm not really, you know what I'm saying, at a point that I'm feeling like, all right, I'm risking off of what, a $2,400 trade. I'm risking some real money just based on the upside of this, based on the news itself, as well as I'm watching how it's trading sideways at this point, and it broke out of this chart pattern. This was my confidence factor. When I saw it actually bounce off these lows and then start making higher lows, then eventually made a higher high, this is where I jumped in at. Immediately after it